Stop keeping your stamps the normal way. It's the reason that you probably never use them. The way that you're storing your stamps is probably killing your creativity, and I'm going to prove it. This video is a little different than anything that you've seen with me before. I'm going to take you alongside of me while I brainstorm and have a mini existential crisis trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my stamp storage, but I think you're going to love it in the end, so keep watching. I'm Ingrid Carlson, and I'm so glad that you're here today. I hope that this video blesses you, it gives you some ideas, and just sparks some creativity for you to go and create something beautiful with your hands today. This is all of my stamps. So the ones that I reach for kind of more often are here. It's got like Tim Holtz stamps, and then I think there's some like Temu stamps as well as other different ones. And I've been looking to see if I could figure out a solution for stamp storage. But my problem is that my stamps aren't all the same. So like you have these that are this size, and then you have this one that is longer. Then you have, like I have some short little ones. I have just a ton of different types, but I'd like to use my stamps more, especially like the postal kind of industrial stamps. So I pulled these containers to see if maybe one of them would work. So this is just a thin, probably 8.5 by 11, I would say. So for this one, I think this would just be good if I wanted to stack them. I don't think this is a good option. So my original idea was to grab these, which is how I used to store my ephemera. Hold on, there it goes. Back when I used to scrapbook. So this one still has some doilies. These look like maybe journaling cards, and this looks like miscellaneous, like little bits and stuff. And so I have some missing because I think I have them, like I have some of those iris boxes up there that are holding on to like paper clips and beads and stuff like that. So I could either try to find more of these, which I think Michael sells. I think these are the iris, or the iris case. So I could put them in here. So my thought was taking them off of their, like off of the acetate and letting them loose in here. And I'm really scared to do it, but I'm also not using them. And so I'm going back and forth. Then the other option, and this would work, like I think with the Tim Holtz stamps. I don't know how it would work with these clear ones, to be honest. I'm not sure. So I think that these would work out well in there, and then I could even stamp this and then shrink it and put it up here so that I know what's in here. Or I could organize them by type. So for example, if I wanted numbers, I could do one case for numbers, one case for words, something like that. But I don't like the way that it is. So this one I've left with like the whole thing intact, and then every time I use it, I try to fiddle with it and try to stick those back in, but they pop out. I also have this one, which I took the extra part, and so now it just has the stamps. But do you see that? They don't stick 100%. They'll come off, and I'm worried about losing them. as well. I honestly, I don't stamp more because I stamp and then put it back and then stamp it. It just doesn't, my brain doesn't work like that. So then the next thing, I have one of these bins, and I think that I bought this, again, scrapbooking days, and I think I have it maybe backwards. Hang on, let me... No. So I think these were for washi tape. And so you can see there's 4 canisters, and this might work. This might be the solution, because then I could just grab a set of this and put it on my desk and work on it, and then it's still somewhat organized. And my thought with that process is, if I split them up, there's kind of no going back. I'm really scared because I don't know, do they need to be on the main thing? Can I be rogue? I'm literally a lot of stuff where I don't really follow the general rules of anything. For example, with scrapbooking and stuff, I never was like everyone else and did it how everyone else did it. But this is giving me a little bit of anxiety. I've been thinking about this for months, but I don't know what to do. And like, I think these can just stay because they're easy enough to pull out, but I don't know. It would also be more convenient if I had them all together, but like I could pull this off. Let's try one really quick. I'm going to try it with one hand and see if these will even peel off. And see if, so that's too big. I'm afraid that that's going to bend over time. So something like that, it won't work with. Let's try... Well, I know those will work. Those are Tim Holtz. I think any ones like this where it's like the rubber stamp, I can do that with, but I'm really scared of the cling stamp. So I think these are, but see, like, look, I can feel that some of these have fallen off. They're probably like in here somewhere laying around, and I don't know. I'm scared. Like, these would be a nightmare to take off, these little tiny ones. I think this is Heidi Swap. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe it's Maggie Holmes. This one's missing, of course. And now I could cut this apart, cut the acetate apart, and, you know, cut here for the numbers, and then maybe cut the letters, so that with this type of stamp, that might work with that one. Let me pull another one. These are, I think, Dollar Tree. So see, I think these would be fine. So if I did like script there, I did florals here. I don't know, but those cling stamps are going to probably stick to one another. Right? It'll still be hard to use. Okay. Let me regroup for a minute and I'll be back. I feel a little bit like the Grinch here. Like I had what does he say? I had a wonderful, awful idea. Okay. So what I'm thinking about doing is something like this. This stamp in general, I know I'm going to use the numbers, and I don't really use this kind of stuff, the Veterans Day, Labor Day. This is more for planning. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these up. And I'm going to cut the acetate. So I'm going to put them back. See, the problem is on some of them, I've lost the second piece of acetate, you know, that sandwiches them together, but I think I'm going to try to put them together like this, and then I'm going to cut this one row here and then another row here, and then this will go with the numbers, and then I'll just do it like that, because right now I'm not using them. And I can't think of any reason not to. I'm thinking about maybe hopping on live asking you guys. Okay, so I decided not to be scared. And what I'm going to do is on the ones that I have in here that are like the ones that I reach for the most, I'm taking them and I'm putting them on a piece of cardstock. For example, these. And then I'm taking a picture of them. That way I have a catalog of what I have. And I'll probably make this into, I don't know, maybe like, I could do like half the page and then do with a ring binder and have it accessible so that I can see, you know, what I have. I could also, no, I think that's the way that I'm going to do it. And then as I go on, if there's other ones that I'm using a bunch, then I will do that. And I think I am going to for sure cut them. So for something like this, I will probably cut however it makes sense and it fits in those things, but I will not attach the back piece because well, maybe if they have them, I'll attach it on some of mine. I've lost that piece and that's part of the problem. But you know, I was thinking about not doing this, and when I was taking pictures of the Tim Holtz ones, they were literally just falling off of the acetate sheet. So, and I tried wiping them down, wetting them a little bit and sticking them back on. And so it kind of gave me the push to do something with these. So, you know, on some of these, I don't even know where they came from. I don't know what they are. So it's not like keeping them on here does any type of service, really. This one's going to be kind of hard though, because the line between them is really thin. So we'll see how I do, because these are like squares instead of the single letters. But we're going to try it, and I'm going to report back. I'm, you know, preemptively recording this so that hopefully I can come back and say that it worked, they're good, and I'm happy with the system. So I'll report back. And this is kind of my experiment, kind of like I'm going to do it so you don't have to, unless it works, and then you can join me with it. So we're gonna keep going. Okay, after taking photos of all of these and a lot of stress and deliberation, I actually saw a quote from Amelia Earhart, and it said something like, follow your fear because that's where your courage will be, something like that. And I'll put it up here if I can find it. But I was thinking, you know, I think I'm just going to go for it. I asked my husband, he was like, yeah, why wouldn't you do that? What would make you keep them like that? So we're going to do it. Worst case scenario, my fallback is I'm going to keep, so I'm actually not going to keep this second sheet of acetate. I'm going to put those all to the side. I'm going to keep them on the one sheet of acetate, and then I'm going to cut around each one. Eeks. And then once I'm done with that, then I will categorize them depending on what they are. So I'll have like, I'll probably have one for like bugs and butterflies, one for foliage, one for words, one for like blank labels, like anything like this, one for numbers, and then, you know, as many as I need. And so we're going to start that. So I'm excited, and I'm not going to look back. And then the worst case scenario, I just order acetate sheets from Amazon. I've already looked it up, and I can get some, and then we put them back to the way they were. So, okay, let's do it. The first cut was the hardest, but here is what I have so far. So we've got, that one has butterflies. It'll have butterflies and birds. cards or like little animals. Then I have like stamps, or this one is going to be like script or motifs. Then this one is words. This one is letters, numbers, sentiments. This one's going to be kind of like ledgers and library cards, stuff like that. This is dates, and that is going to be blank labels. And then I have a whole nother row once I get to them. And I'm cutting everything out with my Tim Holtz, those, I don't know what these are called, but they're those really big scissors. And so it's going pretty good, and I am leaving just the front acetate piece and not the back. And what I was thinking was, with my acrylic block, I could leave it always on that acetate piece and even add a strip of like heavy duty double-side tape here, and then do it like that. So I'm not sure about that part yet, but so far I'm not regretting this, and I'm excited now. So I've got a good dent in my pile, and I'm going to show you what I have so far. I've switched the order of some of these. Actually, I think these are going to go here. And so on this one, I have dates, numbers. This one I think is going to be blank for now. I have numbers here, letters, words, motifs, and script, which I might move that one down. Then I have the butterflies here, postal stuff here, signatures, and like quotes or sentiments. This is tickets and like passport stuff. Here's all the little that I had above before. It's like the little ledger cards. This is stuff I don't know what I'm going to do with yet. These are the blank labels, and here's some florals here. And then I also have specimen stuff there, and that's really good. I did get a little bit anxious though, because I'm sitting on the floor, crisscross applesauce. That's how like I work the best. But I was about to go up to the desk so that I can sit properly, and I got a little anxiety thinking that if I tumbled this over, it would be a big mess. So that's a concern, I guess. But otherwise, I'm really happy. I think this is going to work out. And even if this bin doesn't work out, it is facilitating for me to be able to categorize these so that I have them more organized, and then it's going to be easier to use them. Because my thought is, let's say I am working on something and I want to get numbers. I can pull all of the numbers out, put them on my desk, see everything I have all at once, and then use them. Same with like the sentiments, or like these are all the, I think these four right here are the ones that I would use the most. And so that's another thing, is once I get more into this and I have more, I've gotten through the pile over there, then with these I'll be able to maybe, like, I'm probably going to have 3 or 4 of these type, and so then maybe that one will move down to the bottom. One other thing is that, for example, this set here, there's some that I will probably never use, like this pipe or probably that champagne bottle. So those will get put kind of like this, where it's pieces that I wouldn't normally go for, but then I can have them in a separate container somewhere. They're not going to stay here because this is just the stuff that I reach for more frequently. It's officially 1 in the morning, but I think I am done. and I got through most of the pile. I have like some of these that I put to the side that I'm going to hold off for now. Some of these are like planner stuff, and then some of these are the pieces that are left over that I'm probably not going to use. So I have this over here. And then let's go over this. So I have here large numbers, and then like the question mark, ampersand, whatever this little thing is. Then here I have signatures and dates. On this one I have numbers, I think is this one. Yeah, so these two, this one is a overflow. So these are the same. They're like sets of numbers. So not single numbers, but number like sequences or groups. Then these are the single numbers. And so this is my top left piece. For my top right piece, I have this stuff here, which is like kind of the field note stuff. Then here I have 3, which I knew I'd have extra. So I have 3 of these for different words. So you can see the words there. And then the top one or the front one is letters, just single letters. Now, the bottom of the box actually, so these fit in like this, and then the bottom of the box has a little storage area. So I have these, which are like film strips that I didn't know what to do with. These are the labels. And then I have some florals here, which I thought I'd have a lot more florals, and maybe I will. And that's maybe where I need to buy either another one or, you know, figure something else out. This is going to be different motifs and like background script. This was all of the ledgers. That's a library card. I think there's like a bank statement in there. Then these are kind of travel stuff. So tickets and names of places. And then this kind of piggybacks on this. These are also kind of like destination stuff. And then with it is sentiments. Then the other one that I had a ton of, and that's because I absolutely love postal stuff. So I have that one there that's postal, and then that one there that's postal. So here are the butterflies and bugs, birds, you know, anything like that. These are those Tim Holtz ones that are like kind of, I would say like architecture. And so those are up there. Again, that was the other side of the postal. This is Maggie Holmes, which I have more, so I'll put those there. These are large letters. So it's actually the same kit as these numbers, or, you know, I think it was like ATC, I don't know. And then again, those were the motifs. And then this is how it goes in. And I think I have some on this side that are kind of, don't do that, Ingrid, that are kind of sticking out right here. And so I think it'll still work. No, it's not going to work. Okay, well, part of it could be that field notes. So let's pull this. Let me like that one. Yep, I think that was it. It's still a little high, so I may need to move these up to one of the top tiers. I might switch it with the letters, or the single letters, because I don't have that many of that, and I'll always know that there's letters, so I might switch those out. Let's do that. And then that should give me a little bit of clearance. Actually, let's leave it like that. Let's see if, okay, so that definitely fits better. And there you go. So now the biggest concern is that I don't make it fall. I don't topple it over somehow, but there we go. We are pretty much done. I'm actually really excited and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. I know you're not here with me, but I feel like you went on this adventure with me. Also, I just realized I haven't used the microphone at all, so hopefully it sounds okay. The microphone quality is a lot better, but I wanted to take you along, kind of, even though you couldn't really help me since it was in real time. I feel like you were on the other side of this, encouraging me, maybe yelling at me, telling me not to do it, but it's like that sound. Don't do it. I'm not going to do it, girl. I did it. So, I think this system is going to work out. Those are really strong. And I'm going to go online right now and see if I can find any of these. If I find them on Amazon, I'll have them linked for you. But I might want to pick up another one of these because I still have all of those stamps down there. But like I said, these are the ones that I am using on a more daily basis. They're pieces that that I would reach for. I also thought I might want to do one, and remember that 8.5 by 11 bin that I had? Those might end up being for Christmas because I like to have the Christmas stuff separated. So anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed the little possible chaos. Hopefully you're not mad at me for doing this and thinking that I am that I've lost it. But I really do think this is going to be similar to the Ephemera book, and I think that I'm going to end up using these a lot because I can just pull this out. Like I said, I can dump one of the rows out if I want, and I think it's just going to be a lot easier. And then the test is going to be whether or how I'm going to use the acrylic block on them. So let's see. I have my block here, or a block. So obviously these are just going to stick normal to the block, and it's no different. But on these, I have to decide whether I want to use them as is and peel them off, or like I said, if I do like a glue runner and add like a little bit here and then stick this on and use it like that. So anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts and any comments that you have regarding this. And I'm actually really excited and looking forward to using my stamps more. And so make sure that you are looking out for them in future videos. I am back about 12 hours later. So I went through these stamps. So I cleared out this side, and then here I have like stuff that I would use strictly for mixed media. So I have a couple of stamps here that are faces. So those will go inside of there. And then I've pulled all of these out now, and now I'm going to go through and cut these apart. Some of these will go, like for example, this one will go ahead and go in the bin that I have now because these are letters. Here I have some more letters. Here, this one has some sentiments. So those are fine, but there, and sorry if you hear that crunching, it's Barkley in the background. But I found a lot more florals here, and I thought I had more. So, so like for example, here I have all these florals. So I'm going to cut them apart, and then I was going back and forth because I've run out of space in the bin that I have. So I could buy another bin, which I have one in my Amazon cart. And so I will definitely have it linked in my Amazon storefront if you are interested in getting one. But I still have this one, and then I have the cases, and I actually have another one of these, but I don't know. I'm trying to use what I have and not buy more stuff. I'm trying to use those resources first, and then if I need to go on, use the others. And to be honest with you, the other case on Amazon I've been reading, and I think it's just slightly smaller than the one I have. So if it's not going to match anyways, then I can do something like this. This worries me because I feel like I'll be in the same predicament where I won't use them as much. But if they're cut up, I could use them the same way. And then I have these just bins, and I thought I could switch it around. Like, for example, the words and something else I could stick in here, because those I use. I also found these, which I had stored in, you can tell how long ago this was because it's for my kids. But these are my, I forgot the name of the company. It's like Onion something. And these are really great. They're unmounted rubber stamps, but you can see some of the, different stamps I have, and I can't believe I haven't used these in so long. So these can also get mixed in, or put into the mix. And so I'm going to go ahead and work on that. I'm going to start cutting stuff up, and then together we'll see what we have once these are all cut up. The rest of these are kind of either things that I wouldn't necessarily use, or I have this whole like section over here from my scrapbooking days, these Technique Tuesday amazing stamps, like so gorgeous. I was obsessed with them, but they are like deteriorating, and I don't think I want to mess with them right now. So that I'm going to leave that. I'll probably reorganize this so it looks a little nicer. These are all, which I didn't show, these are all some block, like the rubber stamps with the wood blocks, and then a lot of them are these kind of stamps with the dates, which I love. So I'll probably leave those in there. I also have some foam stamps back there that you can kind of see, but I might leave those intact and start with what I have here, and then we can go to those. Also, the other thing I did was, as I came across Christmas stamps, I went ahead and put them in the 8.5 by 11, so you can see them in there. And this will be easy to keep like this. That is another option. I could get more of these and put maybe some of these in here. And then I have to decide if I'm going to keep my stencils and those block stamps in here. So this is just the process. And I thought we were done yesterday, but of course then I couldn't let things be, and I was like, well, if I'm going to organize it, go ahead and go through all of this and really get out the stuff that I've been meaning to use and that has been neglected. And you can see it's quite a bit. So I'm going to, like, these stamps here, these are from Heidi Swapp, and I love these. I think this is what started me on my music sheet paper obsession, is having these stamps. And so I definitely want to use these, but this I don't even have a section for these to go in. So this will be another section, but that's what's happened, is that they were all sitting here. I couldn't see them. And so, you know, out of sight, out of mind. And that's kind of how my brain works. So I'm bringing it all out and trying to organize them so that I will use them more. Barkley wanted to say hi. All right, buddy, sit down. He's tired of me working on stamps. Okay, can I show them the stamps really quick? All right, so this is this is what we are left with. Come on, bud, go that way. Good boy. Okay, this is what we're left with. And we have this is all like background mixed media kind of stuff here. I also put these, which were, this one's extra, but these are all planner stuff. And then I had found in the back, I had some mounted rubber stamps. So I figured I'd move them from the back to the front, because then I have these rubber stamps. And then I put this like little container, I guess, here. And then I put those letter stamps here. And then these are the leftovers from that didn't fit in our container. So I decided to go ahead and go with the little bins. So I have backgrounds, the blank labels, ledgers and checks, music and borders, and then these are the purple onion unmounted. Then I had these, which I'm thinking I bought these on Temu, and here they are. They are layered florals, and so they each get a color. I don't think I bought them for that reason. I think I bought them for like just using this one and this one, but I have two sets of those. I think they're a little different. And so those, and then I found these, which I didn't even know I had these. They're Tim Holtz like background stamps, and then this one is like the architecture ones, but large, like the big ones. So it's funny, I was going through these and I found a bunch of stamps from like 2016s that say like YOLO, lols. And so I've kept them there for now, and then I have to decide what I'm going to do with them. But let's head over to my table and we'll go over the container. Okay, here is the box. Here are the different, like each of these slots. So I have large numbers, signatures and dates, floral frames. Oh, so I switched it around a little bit. I'll let you see this and I'll open it up. And then I also closed this and tried like kind of flipping it to see, and some of them do go across. You can see here, hold on, let's see. There's just a tiny bit of space in between. So I was thinking I might have a piece of 12 by 12 acetate that I could put on here, and then I can put it upright any which way and the stamps will stay in place. But let's look at what we have. Look how pretty it looks. I'm so excited. Okay, so we have our large numbers. We have our signatures and dates. This one ended up being like these floral kind of frames or wreaths. And then I found these two, which I've never used before, and they're so cute. They're like little doilies. Okay, these are groups of numbers. So anything that says like number or whatever, this is in the wrong spot. I think this should be here. Then this one is single numbers, and so all types of different, just single numbers. Then over here we have scripts and kind of motifs. This is, these three right here are what I'm calling these words, but they're things to make like tags and stuff that just go, you know, they don't really, they just like say stuff, but they're not necessarily sentiments. They're like either one word or like a form, specimen, you know, stuff like that. And then here I have field note stuff, and look at this fun one that I found. Some of the stuff I haven't used in so many years. This one's going to be cool to use, but these are all like kind of the specimens. And then on the front, I went ahead and, if you remember, we had florals here, so I just added more florals. And then these are just like little mismatched pieces that I thought were cute, and I wanted to keep somewhere where I could tell. Okay, so if we open up on our left-hand side, now we have bugs, birds, and butterflies. We have our postal. Then we have travel stuff, so and sentiments. So these are more like little quotes. And I don't know if I'll keep these in here. We'll see. I'm going to try to maybe do a system where if I'm not using them, I move them over to a different one, or maybe take these out and put them in the bin, in the little snap bins, and then put whatever's in the snap bin in here. These are all tickets and like travel stuff. These are single letters. Then we have single large letters, and I ended up having 2 Maggie Holmes stickers, and I kind of went back and forth with this one because there are some, I don't know if it's, there we go, maybe it's gonna, there we go. There are some sentiments in here, so I was kind of thinking that I might put them with the sentiments, but for now, I just made the decision to put all the Maggie Holmes stuff here. So, for those of you that had been in the scrapbooking world, the Maggie Holmes stuff was like really hard to get your hands on, and so much so that all this stuff was in packages because I was so scared to use it. So, you know, I've talked about this being the year of like using the stuff, and so I pulled it out, I cut it up, and I'm gonna use it. And then these are more postal stamps, and then lastly we have the Tim Holtz, what I'm calling, I don't know what these are called, but I'm calling them like architecture stamps. That's what kind of they remind me of, blueprints. And so we're gonna stick these in. And it closes pretty well. Oops. And there you have it. We have our case. I'm really excited. So I think because of that, let's go ahead and use a few of them. I want to stop in really quick and thank you so much for being here with me today. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this stamp storage system, and I really want to know how many of you are freaking out by it or maybe aren't even fazed by it. But I am a couple days later now and I'm not phased. I'm actually wondering why I didn't do it sooner. So I hope that, maybe you're in the same boat as I am and this inspires you to do the same, but, do it at your own risk. So I thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your comments and your support. As always, you are a blessing to my life. I want you to know that. I want you to know how special you are, how beautiful you are, and how loved you are. Until next time, love you. Bye.